All right, good morning. Welcome to the Thursday, December 2nd, 2021 special closed session meeting of the EBMUD Board of Directors. In accordance with Government Code 54953E, this meeting will be conducted by webinar and teleconference only. A physical location will not be provided for this meeting. All directors, including myself, are participating via teleconference. Please call roll, Madam Secretary.
Director Coleman.
Present.
Director Katz.
Present.
Director McIntosh.
Here.
Director Mellon.
Present.
Director Patterson will be joining us, and Director Young will be joining us. Okay.
And I'm here also.
I'm sorry, President Lenny.
If members of the public wish to make public comment, please use the raise your hand feature in Zoom. When prompted, please state your name, affiliation if applicable, and topic. Please refrain from providing any personal information such as addresses or phone numbers during your public comment. If we need this information, we will have you contact staff. The secretary will call each speaker in the order received. Each speaker is allotted 3 minutes to speak. However, I have the discretion to amend this time based on the number of speakers. Secretary will track the time and inform each speaker when the allotted time has concluded.
At the moment, we have 2 hands for public comment. I'm going to call on Eric L. Eric, you should be able to unmute your mic, and your 3 minutes start now.
Thank you, Risha. Good morning, President Lenny, General Manager Chan, and board members. This is Eric Larson, President, AFSCME Local 444. No one could have, hello?
Go ahead.
We can hear you.
Thanks. No one could have anticipated the inflationary pressures we see in the economy today. A year ago, 4% consumer price increase would have seemed quite reasonable. But now, recognizing the factors contributing to inflation, it appears this inflationary pressure will be with us for some time, and 4% falls far short. One can predict the result of high costs and low wages on the labor market. Employees will leave, the district will lose skill sets and institutional knowledge that have kept water flowing and sewage treated for our customers and have been a pillar of the economy in the East Bay. Less than half your employees still earn a pension benefit, the level of which retains employees. The only incentive to stay here for half of your employees is good wages. If they can't afford to live here, they're going to leave. You may have a bunch of shiny new infrastructure through capital investment, but if no one's here to operate and maintain it, it's of no value. You're concerned that costs are going up for you too. You can't afford these price increases. You're going to have to swallow the bitter pill. You're going to have to pass the costs on to the customers. And that's the terrible cyclical nature of inflation. It's not your fault, and it's not your job to fix it. That's the job of the Fed. It's your job to assure reliable, high quality wastewater services at fair and reasonable prices. Recruiting and retaining high quality workforce is fundamental to attaining our mission statement, and that can only be done by maintaining wages consistent with Bay Area cost of living. Our contracts through the 90s into 2000, the ceilings for the cost of living increases were 6 to 7%. 2003, Memorandum of Understanding had ceilings of 5%. In the 2007 contract, we were back to ceilings of 6% with significant CPI plus component. This is how we attract and retain an exceptional workforce. In 2011, we recognized the impact of the recession and gave back through a wage freeze. In 2013, we saw the first ceilings below 5%. These were concessionary to get a CPI plus component due to the increased pension contribution under the 2013 PEPRA. And in 2017, we made a concession with COLA ceilings at 4.5%, 4.75, and 5% to get a CPI plus 5% each year for loss of the wage freeze that we accepted in 2011. Now it's December. Inflation is through the roof. The costs are skyrocketing, and we haven't had a raise in 18 months. Please find the money. You have it. You're not broke. Move it out of capital. Move it out of the reserves. Do what you need to do. Give your negotiators the authority to offer a wage package that pays us what it costs to live, maintain your infrastructure, and retain a workforce that stands bar none above the rest. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Next, we have Christian Narvaez. You should be able to unmute your mic. And your 3 minutes will start now.
Good morning. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Board President Linney, board members, and General Manager Chan. My name is Christian Narvaez, and I'm an Associate Mechanical Engineer in Local 2019. I'm here to speak about the ongoing contract negotiations and support the Local 2019 wage proposal. As a member of Local 2019, I'd like to express my disapproval and disappointment in the most recent district counter for general wages. The current counter, if averaging the maximum proposed increases, does not even equal the current 12-month CPI as of October. Even Social Security, which is supposed to be a supplemental security income, had a cost of living adjustment of 5.9, and the current is well short of that. The current district counter to our wage proposal does not even come close to this. This is not sustainable for current employees, and especially those with young families like me, to remain working at the district while living in the Bay Area. I ask that the board give more authority to the lead negotiator and to show EBMUD employees that you appreciate our efforts and our well-being in action, not just words, as you work with our negotiations team on the wage proposals this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Kevin Jim. Kevin, you should be able to unmute your mic.
Hello,
And
can
your-
you hear me now?
Yes, and your 3 minutes start now.
Great. Hello, Board President Lindley, board members, and General Manager Chan. My name is Kevin Jim. I'm an Associate Civil Engineer with EBMUD and part of Local 2019. And I just have a few comments to add on to Christian's remarks about the ongoing contract negotiations. And first, I just want to say that this has been a challenging year for myself and all of us. And I've worked in the Bay Area all my life, and it's continued to be like one of the most expensive places to live in the world. And I think this year in particular, I'm really feeling the financial strains from the impact of inflation and everything being more expensive. And I know that earlier there's been all these numbers that have been mentioned, so I don't need to mention about the numbers. But I just want to say that I support 2019's wage and equity proposals. And I'm relatively new to EBMUD. I previously worked as a PUC, and I don't remember negotiation process can take this long. So I just hope that we can all reach an agreement soon. And I appreciate all your efforts by the district and all the unions in this negotiation process. And thank you for all your time.
Thank you, Kevin.
Next, we have Kevin Kim. Kevin, you should be able to unmute your mic. And your 3 minutes start now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Good morning, President Linney, members of the board, and General Manager Chan. My name is Kevin Kim. I am an IT engineer in the ISD department. I'm here to talk today about equity adjustments. So I've been working at the district for a little over 10 years. I started as a limited term employee. I worked really hard to get a permanent position. And from my first day to now, I've taken pride in my work. I've worked hard to grow as a valuable team member and as a technical contributor to my team and to the district. I truly believe that I bring great value to the district, as does my entire department. In light of that, what I have found troubling during this round of negotiations is that the equity adjustments that my colleagues and I have asked for have not been brought to the table. I understand that our management team and management in general are receiving bonuses each year that can get into the double-digit percentages. This is drastically more than any employee that works for them is getting. And to be clear, I'm really thankful for the management team, and I believe they do a wonderful, great job, and they deserve all that they get. I would just like to know that management feels the same for those that work under them. And the question that I just want to leave with you all is, with all the hard work that I and my colleagues have put in and the value that we bring to the district, why is it that our request for an equity adjustment is not being considered? Through the 10 years I've invested at EBMUD, adjusting for inflation, my salary with CPI alone hasn't been enough to buy me more than it did when I first started at the district. And so that's just what I wanted to present to you today, and just thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kevin.
Next, we have Sean Constable. Sean, you should be able to unmute your mic, and your 3 minutes will start now.
Thank you. Good morning, President Linney, board members, and General Manager Chan. My name is Sean Constable. I'm new business rep and a member of Local 2019. I actually spoke during last week's session, so I'll keep my comment short and simple this time around, because I believe you're already aware of 2019's concerns. I would just like to reiterate my support of 2019's wage proposal and equity adjustments, and ask again that the board expand management's lead negotiator's authority to accept those wage and equity proposals. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sean.
Okay, next we have Tracy Barrow. Tracy, you should be able to unmute your mic, and your 3 minutes start now.
Hello, Board President Linney, board members, and General Manager Chan. My name is Tracy Barrow. I'm a new business representative in the new business office, and I'm represented by Local 2019. I'm here to speak about the ongoing contract and negotiations. I just wanted to show my support for 2019's wage and equity proposals. I believe we deserve a fair cost of living adjustment and a meaningful raise as well. We have proven during this pandemic that we are exceptional employees and take our civic duties serious. We deserve to be recognized for that with a fair wage and equity proposal from the lead negotiator. Please give them authority to do so. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tracy.
Okay. That concludes, I have one more hand. I have more hands popping up, and it's the nature of the business. And I also have the public comments that I received via email that I need to read into the record. So the next public commenter is Joey Smith. Joey, you should be able to unmute your mic, and your 3 minutes will start now.
All right, good morning. Thank you so much, Risha. Thank you for your time, President Linney, Vice President Coleman, rest of the board, General Manager Chan, and to everyone who has spoken already. I've got to say a great big ditto on what Eric L. stated. He is my contemporary. I'm sorry, I guess I didn't introduce myself. Joey Smith. I am the president of AFSCME Local 2019. And I am a ratepayer and a constituent and nearly 30-year employee here at EBMUD. I love working here. Many other people do as well. The past year has been quite a ride, I would imagine, most would say. But along with that, there have been so many stressors made by the pandemic, all the social vacillations that are going on, our negotiations, and now the complications of our beloved Elsie. And if you're not familiar with Elsie, it is a new program that everyone is doing their best to figure out. here at the district. I'm seeing people leave because of many of these stressors. And it's not that they don't have the fortitude to try to stick it out. It's they don't want to have to deal with these stressors and potentially reducing their life expectancy because of these stressors, and also worry about how they're going to keep up with what's happening in the Bay Area because, quite frankly, the pay that I get, there's no way I would even be able to pay rent in the Bay Area right now. It's just too much. So I'm very, very fortunate to work here. And everybody else who works here feels the same way, I would like to believe. Please give your negotiator the authority to meet us where we're coming from, because I don't believe that we're being unreasonable. We enjoy working here. We appreciate our jobs. We appreciate the work that you all do, because we know it's not easy. So thank you for your time. I hope that you have a great special meeting. And please, these people who are speaking with you, they're doing so because they respect you. If they didn't, they'd be doing a lot of things that you really wouldn't want to be captured and put on social media. They're restraining themselves because we're trying to go through the proper process. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joey. And thank you for all you're doing.
Next, we have Robert Stange. Robert, you should be able to unmute your mic, and your 3 minutes will start now.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Good morning. My name is Robert Stang. I work up at Pardee Reservoir. And, I would just like to thank all my brothers and sisters that I work with at East Bay MUD. You know, the working level employees like myself have exposed ourselves to the dangers of COVID during this whole pandemic. And while others were working from home, we're on the front lines. And, I've worked in Walnut Creek, San Leandro, Richmond, Oakland. I've been throughout the entire district, seeing all of our infrastructure. I've worked at for 3 different departments, and now I'm up at Pardee. And I would not be able to buy a house in the Bay Area. When I was there, I tried looking. I bid on houses. I had to start looking at the outer ends of the district, and at a certain point, my goal became to work up at Pardee, not only because of the affordability, but because I needed to get away from kind of the Bay Area crowds and whatnot. And I haven't heard anybody talk from up this way, but I wanted to represent them. And I also want you guys to know that we're feeling the effects up here also. And I have a brand new family, and I'm on the newer retirement system where I started when I was 22, and I have to work 45 years just to get 2.5% at 67. And, I've worked hard my entire life. I've been here at the district now for 8 years, which for many isn't, I'm not a 40-year person right now, but this is all I know. East Bay MUD is my life, essentially. I mean, my family's my life, but East Bay MUD, it takes up so much of my time. And, I just want to be treated well, and I'm waiting for that. And so I just hope you guys really take that to heart. I know you guys have heard from a lot of people. Maybe it just becomes like this, you just hear from too many people that you start tuning it out. But And my next question is, have you guys made any comments on that? Have you guys talked about it openly with us yet? Or has it all been with the negotiator? Because I haven't heard any comments from you guys regarding the contract and whatnot, but maybe I've just missed something. Anyways, thank you for my 3 minutes. Really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great Christmas holiday.
Robert, thanks for coming today. Can I just ask you, what's your position at the, in party area?
Give me one moment because
Okay, yeah.
I'm expeditiously trying to get through public comment. One moment. Robert, you should be able to unmute your mic. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a water system inspector up here. I'm the only water system inspector. Also the only, well, besides there's the admins, but besides the admins, I'm the only 2019 represented employee at Party Center specifically. We have rangers that are at a different complex, but I'm talking for all the maintenance specialists, all the treatment plant specialists, the rangers. You know, we've been working really hard up here, and with all FSCC new stuff going on board and the craziness with that, people working overtime, giving up their family time, working on the weekends. We're low staffed. You know, they're trying to get rid of certain management positions to fill other needs. We need more budgetary positions up here at Party, just for my level. Yeah, so we're also feeling it
Right.
up here.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Thank you for Robert for coming today. And I think you brought up at least one thing that I wouldn't mind just saying. We certainly listen to everyone. I don't. Every employee has a story. I'm very interested in hearing it. But for those of you who aren't familiar with this process, we work through our negotiators with the union leaders at the negotiating table. This is a closed session. This is the open comment part of the closed session. But we take, you know, the things that we hear to our closed session table and discuss those. We're not allowed, and it doesn't really make sense for us to be able to discuss them in open session here, how we're feeling or which direction we're going, because again, that's not how the negotiations work. But let me assure all of our employees who have come today, last week, and previous times, that your comments do mean a lot to us, and we really appreciate hearing directly from you.
Okay. Next, we have Mike. No last name. Mike, you should be able to unmute your mic. And your 3 minutes will start now.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, good morning, board members. My name is Michael Leong. I've been here at the district for 16 years. My position title is IT engineer in the ISD department. Being at the district for 16 years, I've grown up in the Bay Area, and you know, over those 16 years, I've gone up tremendously. And you know, as a member of the general public, you know, provides excellent water quality to the Bay Area, and you know, other compared to other agencies, and in comparison to, you know, the other public entities during the pandemic. I know we provided, or we also, especially during this pandemic crisis, for those 16 years, the buying power for my dollar hasn't pretty much increased in value. In terms of, you know, my salary, it's only been increased with generally with just CPI, and we're just keeping up with the times. And I feel that, you know, working at the district for 16 years, I feel, you know, the quality divide isn't shouldn't be based just on CPI in terms of, sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. This is my first time speaking.
Okay, take your time.
Yeah. I just have a question in terms of why is my salary over the 16 years, the buying power for my dollar hasn't been sorry. Sorry, it's a little bit confusing for me. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry.
No problem.
Yes. Sorry about that. I'm having a little bit of communication problems. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay. Mike, if you can wrap up your
Yeah,
comments,
so-
your 3 minutes just ended. You had about 15 seconds. If you could wrap up your comments.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to leave one question with the board members is, after 16 years of working in the district, why is the level of the quality that I provide to the services based off of CPI? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Next, we have Gary Walters II. Gary, you should be able to unmute your mic, and your 3 minutes start now.
I have unmuted. Thank you, Risha. Hello, President Linney, Board of Directors, and General Manager Chan, and also all those in attendance for today's special meeting, public comment, I guess. My name is Gary Walters II. I am part of the contract negotiating team for Local 2019. I have previously pointed out that CPIW does not exactly keep up and identify the increase in the cost of living in our service area, primarily because it does not account for the cost of housing. In the last 10 years, the median home price in the East Bay, our service area, has increased over 100%. I mean, currently my city sales tax, just the sales tax, is over 10%. Our cost of living adjustments over these last 10 years have not kept up with the actual cost of living here in the Bay Area. And in fact, for 2 of those years, there was no increase for us. The district's negotiator has offered our members a wage increase, but has capped it at a 3% ceiling. I cannot recommend that to my membership. Even at a 5% ceiling, I would have difficulty because the cost of living has increased way more than that. The ceiling does not mean that that's going to be the actual raise. That just allows for instances like this year with everything that's going on in the economy and the pandemic, that it allows for that cost to be passed on to the employees, the staff. When my rent goes up every year, the max, luckily I have rental protection, and the max they can do it is 5%. They raise my rent every year 5%. I can't say no to that. I have to find a way to pay for it, or I don't get to live in the house I've been in for 12 years here as a ratepayer, close to work. I live 6 miles from the 80 where I report. I have to find a way to adjust for it. So worldwide, not just nationally, internationally, we are acknowledged by not just our community, but the Vice President of the United States, that we perform our work at the highest level. But the EBMUD negotiator and HR staff has told us that they only want to pay the staff at the median of the industry. We are not mediocre. We excel in all categories. We get awards announced at almost every board meeting at the start. That's done by the boots on the ground, the pens in the paper, the people at the computers that make this agency what it is. I request that the board of directors provides guidance to provide a meaningful wage increase with much higher ceilings to allow for the uncertain future. As the cost of living increases, we don't have the ability to just say, I'm not paying it. I thank you all for calling this special meeting to address the negotiations that I've been at the table at for the last 10 months, and our contract expired in April. So I also wanted to put a little special shout out to Director Coleman and let you know that I was sorry to hear that you were having these medical, I think it was Coleman was talking about his medical procedures, and you'll be in my thoughts and prayers, sir. I appreciate your time and all that you have done over these 30 years of service to our beloved agency. Thank you for your time. I yield the floor.
All right, thank you, Gary.
Okay. That concludes,
One more.
we do. We have you. You should be able to unmute your mic, and your 3 minutes start now.
Good morning, board. Good morning, President Lindy, General Manager Chen. I want to reiterate a lot of.
Could we get your full name?
This is Yu Lin. I'm with ISD.
Okay.
And I too am on the negotiations team, so I've maintained a level of separation of the comments prior for allowing the process to go through its natural course. While I reiterate a lot of the comments that my colleagues have said, there's a lot of sentiment around the public aspect of this that doesn't seem to resonate well or doesn't come across. And that is, we are public employees, but we are also public members. When the teachers at our schools ask for raises, I don't pause to think that I want to make sure that the best talent is taking care of our future children and the future of this environment, community. If the nurses or general members of hospitals and medical care ask for the same, I want to make sure that they have a decent salary. Firefighters, and even not public sector, food and hospitality during a pandemic when we were all striving to get through this together. I've had personal losses, family loss to COVID, and other things that were not related to COVID that just completely went under the radar because of all that's happened in these last 2 years. I'm more than a little disappointed by the progress in these negotiations because the sentiment seems to be that as long as things are on par with CPI and we draw you a chart and it says, hey, look, over the last 20 years, or give or take 0.5% from that, then all things are fine. They're not. We do that with Social Security. We do that with pensions, anything that requires an adjustment, because that's what it is. It's an adjustment for the value of the dollar. It is not an adjustment for the merit of the work being done during that time. And we all know inflation for what it is. We saw what the Social Security number increase will be at 5.9 for 2020. When you're presenting something way less than that to the district and telling us to take part in the work and just sympathize with the reality of the situation during a pandemic, we look at management's bonuses and raises. I don't see them at 3% or 4%. We're not a private entity where CEOs are making 200-300 times what an employee does, and I appreciate all the work that management's done. But exponentially speaking, an increase for a management level salary is much larger at the same percentage as it would be for an employee at a lower rate. And no manager has stepped up and said, I'll limit my pay increases at 3% or 4%. It's never happened. It's very much double talk when that is how it's presented. It's disappointing. And I don't think management, we've seen some of the best management leaving and coming up leaving, despite getting raises and bonuses. And I leave you with the thought of just wondering where we stand as our appreciation for ourselves as public employees, the same way we have that sentiment for the nurses, the firefighters, and the teachers. Do we want the employees to feel the pride in serving the community in a way that they are respected and loved and able to live in the community that they serve? Or do we want to treat them like secondhand citizens that only show up in our communities to serve us, but then go back an hour or 2 hours away because they can't afford to be here? And then just point them to charts that say, look, your CPI means that your salary today is what it was 16 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and none of the work that you've done or contributions over that time has garnered even the smallest merit of increase. 'Cause even if
Can you
gave-
please wrap up your comments? Your 3 minutes have concluded.
Yes, even if you gave 0.1% extra over CPI over that time for somebody who's been here for 20 years, they should have seen something different. And so the charts today do not reflect that. They reflect that we are on par with CPI. That is not a raise. And I wish it's, if the end of the day, the message is you don't deserve a raise, then that's how it should be stated. It should not be stated that you are getting raises. Thank you for all you've done. I hope you and your loved ones have been doing all right during the pandemic and otherwise. And I appreciate everything the district does for us as a community. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, you.
All right. Those were the public commenters online. I have written public comment that I need to read into the record. And the first is from Ishtar Knox, writing in support of 2019's wage and equity proposals, noting that inflation is high and management's wage proposal falls short of keeping up with the California cost of living, asking the board to give management's lead negotiator more authority so that wage and equity proposals can be accepted. Next, we have Martha Barrera, support 2019's wage proposal, feels it's a proposal that will provide staff with some compensation that will help keep up with rising prices, feels that she deserves a meaningful raise, comments on inflation, and management's wage proposal falls far short of keeping up with the California cost of living, and asking the board to give management's lead negotiator more authority so that the wage and equity proposals can be accepted. Next, we have Gary Lynn, writing to say to the board that he fully backs and supports Local 2019 on all aspects of the negotiations. Next, we have James Romer, East Bay MUD employee and member of 2019, supports the wage proposal and equity proposals. States that staff deserves a meaningful raise. At a minimum, the raise should keep up with the California high cost of living increases, especially now in a period of inflation. Asking the board to give management's lead negotiator more authority so that the wage and equity proposals can be accepted. Next, we have Tom Boardman, would like to thank the board and the negotiators for working together. Supports Local 2019's wage proposal in the face of ongoing inflation in the San Francisco Bay Area, and humbly requests that the board accept the proposal being presented. Next, we have Carol Shadon, and for the record, these items will be filed with the meeting records. Writing to email concerning the current MOU negotiations with the unions. And this is a 3-page comment. I know that it's more than 3 minutes. And Carolyn Shadon's comments will be included in the records, excuse me. Just trying to see. Carolyn Shadon was writing about working at former agencies and how the pension plans and the compensation compared to East Bay MUD. And the question to the board president, members, and general manager, what is driving the trend toward creating more supervisor roles, reducing benefits and pay, instead of looking at the real cost of living in the Bay Area and allowing employees to be fairly compensated without becoming a supervisor? Please tell your negotiating team that you support the district employees. Next, comments from Jasmine Levitch, writing in support of 2019's wage proposal and stating that staff deserves a meaningful raise, comments on inflation, the cost of living in California, and ask the board to consider staff's concerns and be able to provide staff with their needs in order for staff to be able to live and work safely and secure in the Bay Area communities. Next comment from Robert Jungenberg, board president, board members, General Manager Chan. The wage proposal that 2019 is proposing is fair and just. Cost of living in the Bay Area has risen at a fast rate, and management's wage proposal falls short of keeping up with the local cost of living. Asking the board to give the lead negotiator more authority so that the wage and equity proposals can be accepted. Next comment is from Elisa Four, Board President. Support local 2019's wage proposal. Inflation is high in California and cost of living has increased. Please give management's lead negotiator more authority so that the wage and equity proposals can be accepted. Next comment is from Leslie Richardson. Support 2019's wage proposal. Deserves a meaningful raise. Inflation is high and the cost of living in California has increased. And asking the board to give management's lead negotiator more authority so that the wage and equity proposals can be accepted. And finally, Dorothy would like to express support for the ongoing contract negotiations. Comments on labs working, Dorothy is an employee in the lab, and comments on the work that lab employees performed preparing sanitizer during the pandemic. And states that they are seeking a real raise instead of COLA. And that concludes the written comments that were received by the board. And there are no other callers on the line for public comment.
All right, then we'll close the public comment section of this meeting. The board will now meet in conference with our labor negotiators regarding the memorandum of understanding with employee organizations, International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 39, American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, Locals 4444 and 2019, and the International Federation of Professional and Technical Engineers, Local 21.
President Lenny, we
will-
have one additional hand for public comment.
All right.
Okay. This is from phone number ending in 8174. Should be able to unmute your mic. And your 3 minutes will start now.
Thank you, Riz. Hello, Board President Lenny, board members, and General Manager Stan. I am here to speak about the ongoing contract negotiation. My name is Valentine Bell. I'm in construction engineer as a senior construction inspector. I'm here to support our 2019 wage proposal. We all deserve. We've been working through the pandemic with all the rehab of all the reservoir that's been going on. So I'm asking for a meaningful raise. Management's wage proposal falls far short of keeping up with the California cost of living. I'm here to support the 2019 equity proposal, and I ask the board to please give our management lead negotiator more authority so that our wage and equity proposal can be accepted. Thank you so much for your time. Have a
All
good
right.
day.
Thank you, Valentine.
Okay.
Well, with that then, we will now convene remotely to discuss the closed session item. The board is scheduled to reconvene in public session at 11 a.m., which is 40 minutes from now, for announcements from closed session. We will alert the public if this meeting goes longer than that, which I kind of anticipate at this point, but we'll see.
Risha,
Yes,
do I need a different Zoom login?
look for the meeting and I will, you have a different Zoom login? We can
No,
talk
I
about
do
it.
not.
Okay, we'll talk about it once the meeting concludes. I'll contact you.
Thank you.
Okay. We're
All right,
done,
thank you.
President Lenny?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So this is just our reconvening and adjournment portion of the meeting. There are no announcements required from closed session. The next regular meeting of the board will be held on Tuesday, December 14th, 2021 at 1:15 p.m. This meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.